And welcome back, everyone, to the Quirk Creation Series. This one comes from my personal list again. I'm pretty much out of suggestions, by the way, for quirks, except for one person who I will get to next week. So if anyone wants to add their suggestions for quirks, please, by all means, let me know. But yeah, Cell. Cell's one of those characters, and I've done it once or twice before, where I think you have to do Cell not as a person with a quirk, but as a Nomu. Because he is the equivalent of a Nomu in the Dragon Ball world. He is a artificially created being with the multiple abilities of different people, all compiled into one body. So I think as a My Hero character in a quirk creation series, we have to use him as a Nomu. This also even works with um, his design, where he has to merge with two or absorb two other androids, or in this case, two other Nomus, to reach his ultimate form. So that makes a lot of sense in my mind. Now, that being said, what would be the quirks that he has? Like, he doesn't have his own unique quirk per se, except for one. Um, because being a Nomu means he has the multiple quirks of multiple individuals inside of him. So he'd have something. He'd have a variation of the float quirk, no doubt about that, because he can fly. He'd have obviously some super physical enhancement quirks added in there. He'd have a quirk that basically allows him to produce energy attacks. Now there are multiple versions of energy-based quirks in My Hero, not just like fire and lightning, but actual energy type of quirks. I just don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head at the moment that could be an altered version of a different quirk that could work as just a standard key blast kind of thing. So those would be your base ones, but also you'd have high speed regeneration. And then the main quirk. Now, the main quirk would be one that maybe this main person had initially. This could be the theoretical quirk that this body, that this Nomu, this cell, had originally. And it has to do with absorption and energy attack gaining ability. So what's the best way to put this? So his quirk would be very odd. Like, I'm not sure if this would be quite a heteromorph quirk, or if because like maybe he has it was born with the tail initially, or maybe his hand morphs into the hypodermic and he just stabs people with it and absorbs them. But I could see the quirk being a parasite. He can literally absorb the life force and biomass of others to increase his power. Like, that's kind of how I envision the quirk being named, and that's really what the quirk would do. And an awakened version of this wouldn't just absorb energy and biomass to feed and strengthen the individual. It would, in fact, steal quirks. Because very similar to All for One. So I think that is how you have to work with Cell, I think, in terms of making him a quirk user. Now, are there any downsides to this quirk? At least the base quirk at any rate, the parasite quirk. Yeah, I would say that first off, you have to be able to grab someone. Second off, if you this would be before Cell has the regeneration. So if someone, for example, ripped off or broke that let's call it proboscis, that piercing needle, it won't regenerate. Like, it's probably still very durable. It won't be easy to break, but if someone does break it, that's it. So he has until he got the regeneration as the Nomu. If that got destroyed, he's done. That being said, it's not likely that someone could absorb it. I would say he probably doesn't have an upper limit, but he can't absorb. Like, if he were to say go up against Gigantomachia and somehow was able to pierce his hide, he's not going to just be able to absorb a Gigantomachia within seconds like he would a normal person. Like, even a normal person probably takes anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds to absorb, which is why he was probably labeled like as a murderer or something like that, like a psychopath. Like, the bigger the foe, the longer it would take to absorb. Like, he would probably only be absorbing some of that life force and power and strength from Gigantomachia at best, if he's able to pierce it. So the size of the target, I think, in this case does matter as well. But otherwise, that would be the Quirk for Perfect Cell. Let me know if you agree with this quirk or you do something different. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.